depressed and anxious. That's where I was at in my life. And that might be where you're at in your life now too. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to say to myself in that situation what I wish someone would have told me, and everything that I have learned since I was at that place in my life to hopefully help you too. To give you some context into the situation, this was about 18 months ago when I was in a really bad place in my life. I had just had the second failed business relationship, and I was actually in a significant relationship with this person as well. I moved from Austin to Houston, Texas to be in this business relationship, and everything started to fall through. And I was alone in Houston. I actually got an eviction notice during this time because this person took all of my money that I put into the business, and I was really left with absolutely nothing, and I didn't know what to do. I was very depressed, very anxious, and was just constantly up in my analytical, logical mind. I was trying to get out of the situation by thinking out of the situation rather than listening to my own self and my own guidance. But at that time, I didn't know how to tap into it. So I eventually moved back to Austin, and I was working and I started to do really well for myself. However, I was grinding and hustling every single day, working from 6 a.m. in the morning till 10 p.m. at night. And during this time, I wanted to take my own life. It was at such a deep, dark place where I didn't want to be on this earth any longer. But thankfully, I had some really good people in my corner, and they gave me the guidance along the way to start to find different facets. This is a time in my life where I found breath work. This is what eventually led me to plant medicine, which really allowed me to change my life around. And I am a completely different person talking to you today than I was at that point. But what would I have told myself in that point? If I could go back and I could be this voice speaking to Jake about a year and a half ago, what would I say? The first thing that could probably help you the most is that everything is happening for you. These things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. So we come onto this earth and we live this life and we think that it's supposed to be picture perfect. However, for all of us, it's not. There's lessons that come in, there's teachings, and sometimes these lessons and teachings are really, really hard to go through. I know that for myself, it was. And I see so many people, especially people my age, maybe your age, that you're listening to this, mid 20s to early 30s. We have all come down to this earth during a similar time period. And we've all gone through these really deep, really tough times in our life where we think that there is this way to live life because we went to school and we were taught certain modalities and things that we have to live our life by. You have to learn this, then you have to go and get the good job, and then you get a house, and then you have a family, and that's what we were taught. We basically went to work camp for 8 hours a day and were told exactly what we had to do. And from a very early age, this way of life was instilled in us. It was like, this is the path. There's no other path. You have to go this way. And for so many of us, we go into that way of being and we go into that life and we realize it's not for us and it's hard for us to break free from that. So what I would have told myself in that situation is this is all happening for you so that you can live a life of impact, so that you can live a life of alignment. You just have to start finding yourself. And that's the next thing that I would say is to start finding yourself, because you've been run by your mind your whole life. You've been run by limiting beliefs. You've been run by the opinions of others. Instead of doing that, you have to see where the insecurities are within yourself. Where are these limiting beliefs held? Why and how were they passed down to you? And where are you holding them within yourself? And that's why these difficult situations keep showing up in your life, is because you have these limiting beliefs and you have these opinions and these agreements that were passed down to you from a very young age. You have to start to see where you're holding on to those. Where in your body are you holding them? Where in your mind are you holding them? And it's time to start facing them. And that leads me into what I would say next is it's time to start getting still. It's time to start becoming present. It's time to start finding a practice where you can become present. Because when we get present, that's when we allow ourselves to get out of that logical thinking mind, go within our body to start actually learning who we are. Because so many of us, we just live our lives run by our mind, and we don't know who we actually are. We form an identity based upon our limiting beliefs. We form an identity based upon our emotions. We form an identity based upon what other people told us who we are. And that is not who you actually are. You have to form a connection, a deep connection with yourself. You have to see in yourself, where am I holding on to these lower vibrational frequencies in my body that aren't serving me? The limiting beliefs that got passed down by my parents, my grandparents, everything that's in my DNA, the agreements that were placed upon me by teachers, by role models in my life that made me believe that this is the way that I had to live my life. We have to allow ourselves to start releasing that. And we do that by becoming present. When I was in this time in my life, I started to, over time, to find breath work. What I would tell myself then is start breathing every single day. I eventually did this. And breath work is something that allowed me to start to see where I was holding on to past trauma, past stored emotions that were forming my identity, that were forming the way that I was living, which was not the way that I wanted to truly be living. And that is what breathwork allowed me to do, was to go within myself, to see and start to release all that I was holding on to. The trauma from my mom's mom was held inside of me. And that was what was causing the scarcity, the trying to find love and needing somebody to love me and never being able to feel loved because I didn't have that love within myself. That is what I was searching for. So if I could tell Jake then, hey, get present every single day. And this will start to allow you to form that deeper connection with yourself so that you can start learning who you are, see your weaknesses, see your strengths, and start forming a new identity, which is just your true self. That's what I would tell him then. The last thing that I would say is to get support. Surround yourself with people that support you. If you have people in your life that are draining your energy right now, those people are only adding to the flame. They're adding to the fire. They're making that darkness or your shadows become even bigger. And if you want to rise up and start seeing the light that you hold within, then you have to surround yourself and get the support of people that can lift you up. Whether that be a mentor, whether that be a coach, whether that be just be a better friend group. Like, throw yourself into those communities, whether that's finding a meditation community. I know that in Austin, Texas, we have those. Whether that's going to a yoga class, whether that's finding a community that gets together and does ice baths or breath work. Start throwing yourself into those communities so that you can start to rise up, because those people will be doing the same thing as you. They're wanting to rise up. They're wanting to become better. They're wanting to let go of their limiting beliefs and past stored emotions. They're wanting to impact the world. So surround yourself with those people, or get a direct mentor or a direct coach. Even if you can't afford it, do it. I know that I invested into many coaches that I couldn't necessarily afford, but I just did it, and it allowed me to rise up. And I have to keep telling myself that now too. Like, keep investing into yourself. This money facade that we create, that we can't afford things. You can't afford not to do it. So get the support that you need, whether that's a mentor or a coach, or throw yourself into a community so that you can start to rise up with these people around you that allow your energy to lift up as well. And if you start to do these things in your life, if you start to tell yourself what I am telling you right now, with getting still, getting present, knowing that everything is happening for you, forming that deeper connection with yourself and surrounding yourself with a better community, you are going to start to rise up and find who you truly are so that you can start creating an impact in the world in the way that you want to and not living a life based upon what other people told you you had to do. I hope that this video helped you today. If you liked it, please leave a comment down below. Please leave a like and share it with anybody that needs to see it too. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.